What's up, fellow Hoops fans? Welcome back to yet another episode of The Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV. And as always, we are brought to you by our great friends over there at topsport.com.au. Now it's Monday morning. No other man I'd rather be talking to on a Monday morning than old mate Benyam Kidane. BK, what's happening, my brother?
I'm doing good, my man. How you living?
I'm living good, man. I've got this sunburn. I don't know if it's showing up here on the camera, but you and I spent a great. You had a great weekend down in Melbourne. We had a great day yesterday over at the Paran Summer Jam, catching all the local hoops action. So I did get a little bit burnt here.
Yeah, we got the Summer Jam tan. We outside.
I'm with that. The Summer Jam tan. I love it. I actually got a chain mark on the back of my neck too from where I was wearing my chain all day. So anyway, moving on, BK. We're going to get straight into it. A lot of NBA action over the weekend. A lot of things to talk about. There's actually some breaking news. Actually, that you even broke to me. I hadn't even heard about this. Apparently, it's just gone down. There's been a trade in the NBA. BK, what's happening?
Caris LeVert of the Indiana Pacers on his way to Cleveland for Ricky Rubio's contract and a couple of second-round picks and first-round pick. An interesting move for the Cavs because this is exactly the type of player they need on the wing here, and a nice little we're-in kind of move from the Cavs.
Yeah, and interesting too because these two teams are actually playing each other a little bit later on today. But the Cavs, I feel like they kind of needed to make a move, and I wasn't really expecting this to be the move. But I mean, Rubio, as callous as it sounds, not going to give them anything for the rest of the season. So you're not really losing a lot there. I like this move too. You know, the Cavs are really looking to solidify their spot in the top four, aren't they?
Yeah, and especially, without Sexton and Rubio for this season, the Cavs really needed another ball handling, shot creator type guy. And that's exactly what LeVert is. That'll help Darius Garland a lot on the wing. And so giving them that scoring sort of guard forward option, that puts them in good stead for the playoffs. This team's looking nice.
Yeah, look, I think I'm all aboard the Cavaliers as not a championship threat, obviously, because I still think they're a little bit off that, but I'm all on board them being like a fun playoff team. And without LeBron James, it's weird to hear those words and Cleveland put together.
Well, that's what Darius Garland was saying last week, was that they had an opportunity to create their own history, their own sort of playoff situation without LeBron. This is a new era in Cleveland. And, you got a guy like Garland who's going to the All-Star game, Jarrett Allen, who's on the fringe there. This is a real signal of intent, I think, for the Cavaliers as far as this season, because the East, it's not as cut and dry as it once was. There's an opportunity here that the Cavs maybe sense that they can kind of seize this season.
And I love when teams are proactive and not reactive. So they do see that there's an opportunity and they're acting upon that. They're not waiting to the end of the season. They're not going to wait and see what happens, what other teams are going to do. They're like, we've got a chance here and we're going to take it. Now, speaking of teams, BK, that are not really taking their chance, we're going to move on to the Los Angeles Lakers. I love getting these jokes off about the Lakers, BK. Somehow, I'm making these jokes, but somehow they beat my Knicks yesterday, and they were down 21 points at one point. So I don't know what that says about the Knicks, and we're going to leave that for another day, BK. But the Lakers, LeBron came back. He had almost 2 weeks off with that knee issue, and he was absolutely fantastic. He had a triple-double. He had 29 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 103rd triple-double of his career. The Lakers are now 20-17 when LeBron's playing and just 6-11 when he's absent. BK, old mate Russell Westbrook, 1 of 10, BK from the field. I know you're still on Westbrook Island. Come on, I want to hear it.
It's adjacent to Malik Monk Island, so that's the big three that the Lakers are looking at yesterday. Monk had the game of his life, but it's just tough because Westbrook's best games have come without LeBron in the lineup. LeBron comes back, saves the Lakers, but it still just doesn't quite seem to be working together with the big three there in LA.
No, it's like you said, it's adjacent to Malik Monk Island, BK. I'm imploring you, jump off West Brick Island and swim to Malik Monk Island. It's safety over there.
Paradise over there.
It's paradise. Look, I don't know what the Lakers are going to do with Westbrook, and there's 44 million reasons why I don't think they're going to be able to get rid of him. And I've said it all season long. There's only so far LeBron James at age 37 can take this team.
Yeah, that was the whole goal of this, was that LeBron would kind of fall back and almost be the third guy on this team, but he's still very much the number one guy, which is probably not what the Lakers had envisaged. But I think they're kind of just stuck. This is their team. They're just going to have to figure it out. I don't really know what moves they can make at the deadline that's going to change things. So I think they've just got to put their heads down and try and get through this.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like they understand that now as well. And it's just like, all right, we've got to play through this. We've got to try and figure it out. If we do, we do. And if we don't, we don't. It's just going to kind of be like a lost season for the Los Angeles Lakers. A team that's trying to avoid a lost season, BK, is the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving played over the weekend. The Nets are in free fall. They've lost 7 in a row now, and they're sliding down those Eastern Conference standings. And like you said, BK, the East is not the East of the old this year. So, you know, the Nets have got to be very, very careful. Kyrie played on the weekend, had 15 points on just 6 of 20 shooting in the loss against the Utah Jazz. After the game, Kyrie mentioned that the Nets are still learning how to play with each other, and said it's not time to push panic buttons just yet. And the quote was, "We are still getting to know one another, how we play, what's our spots, offensive and defensive tendencies, and then communication." BK, we're over 50 games into this season, and granted, the big three haven't played together a hell of a lot. But is this concerning, BK, that they're still trying to figure out what each other's games are?
Absolutely. And look, injury has played a role. KD's obviously been out. Joe Harris has been out for an extended period of time as well. And obviously Kyrie with his part-time status. Now you've got the James Harden sort of talk starting to rumble. It's not looking great in Brooklyn, not only short-term in terms of a championship this season, but also long-term. It's a little precarious out there how things are going to play out for them.
Yeah, Steve Nash was asked, I think it was by Stephen Bondi of the New York Daily News ahead of the game. And, you know, I think it was this morning. And, you know, he said, look, we're not trying to trade James Harden. James Harden has spoken to us, and he said that he wants to be here. But I don't know, BK, you know, look, a lot of times in the NBA where there's smoke, there is definitely fire.
And where there's smoke, there's also Daryl Morey as well, which really just adds to this. Because obviously, you know, we know his feelings about James Harden, and obviously the rumblings of a potential deal involving the 76ers. So there is some leverage there from Harden. You know, obviously he wants to be in Brooklyn and win a championship, but will his head be turned by the opportunity to go and play in Philly alongside Joel Embiid? Is that something you can see?
I mean, yes, I can see that. It's like nothing surprises me in the NBA anymore. Like, I honestly really just feel like anything is possible. Like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire. I think there's definitely interest from both sides there, Morey and James Harden. James Harden's looking at Brooklyn like, this is not what I signed up for. This is not what I came here for. Kyrie's a part-time player. Obviously, KD's out through no fault of his own. It's through an injury. You know, the team's 2-8 in games that Durant hasn't played, and they're 4-7 in games that Kyrie has played. You know, and that's including this current losing streak. You know, Kyrie's saying it's not time to panic. It's getting there, BK. It's getting there.
It's getting close. It's getting close.
It's getting very, very close. I wasn't I wasn't sold on the Nets I didn't think they were going to win the championship this year anyway.
I was.
You picked them.
Sold.
You picked them. But no team has won an NBA championship after going on a 7-game losing streak during the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, we're at that point now where we're at the All-Star break. And this is kind of where you need to know who you are as a team in terms of forging an identity and all that. And the Brooklyn Nets couldn't be further away from that. And going off Kyrie's comments, they're still trying to figure things out. They don't even really know what their lineup is. They don't know who's going to be available from day to day. So that just makes it all the more difficult to build any of that momentum. And then when you throw in the fact that your best player is on the sidelines as well, it's tough.
Teams that are still trying to find their identity at this point of the season are either lottery teams or teams fighting for a playoff spot. So I don't think the Brooklyn Nets wanted to be in this position. BK, all right, screw it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it because we just mentioned that the New York Knicks blew a 21-point lead yesterday to the Los Angeles Lakers. So we have to talk about the former Prince of New York, Julius Randle. Now, there's been talk that he's on the trade block. There's been rumors that, Sacramento, he could be part of a deal for De'Aaron Fox going to Sacramento. The Knicks need to make a move. They definitely need to make a move. I don't know what that move is, but they've got to ship some people out and bring in some other people. Julius Randle was asked about those trade rumors, before practice over the weekend, and he called the rumors gossip. This was before the Lakers game. And again, BK, I go back to where there's smoke, there's fire. So I do think his name is being mentioned in trade talks. Randle has quickly gone from being the Prince of New York to just having his name thrown about in various rumors. Will he get traded, BK? And should he get traded?
I mean, the report was that they had interest in De'Aaron Fox. And I think just by virtue of that, Randle would be the guy that you would have to include in that. So I don't know if it's necessarily we're out to trade Julius Randle. I think it's just that the players they may be coveting would require someone like Julius Randle to go the other way. But I'm not even really sure if De'Aaron Fox is the guy that changes things around for the Knicks.
No, he's not. He's not. I mean, if you're talking about like a singular player coming in, no, he's not going to come in and transform the franchise all of a sudden. And I agree to your point that if the Knicks need to make a move of this caliber, which they do, they don't have many tradable assets. And, you're looking at Randle. They're not going to get rid of RJ Barrett. I think Randle, look, if they can get rid of Randle, Kemba, and Evan Fournier, I think they're the three guys that they're probably more likely to move. I think they're going to keep guys like RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, who I think changes the dynamic of that team defensively every time he's on the floor. I think those kind of guys are bordering on untouchable right now. So it's no wonder that Randle's name has been mentioned. But look, it's not just that. His play this year is down on last year when he was an all-star. He was an all-NBA, caliber player. If you look at his numbers right across the board, they're down this year on last year. So it's not just that he's a movable piece. He's just not been playing well.
And of course, the relationship with the fans isn't great as well. He's had a tumultuous couple of weeks with the MSG faithful as well. So that only intensifies things when your name starts popping up in these rumors.
Listen, once you tell the New York crowd to shut the fuck up, it's going to be hard to come back from that. I don't care who you are. The only way back is to bring a championship, and that's not happening this season.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. All right, BK. We're going to touch on some WNBA news because there was a big move in the WNBA yesterday, which, involved an Australian player, Liz Cambage. There was a report here, ESPN, Ramona Shelburne, saying that Liz has verbally committed to play for the Los Angeles Sparks. She's leaving Las Vegas. That was the name of a movie, wasn't it? Leaving Las Vegas, going to Los Angeles. She's going to join up with Nneka and Chiney Ogwumike in LA. That is going to be one hell of a front court right there for the LA Sparks, BK. What did you think of this move? And are the Sparks going to be the favorites heading into the new season?
Well, after missing out on the postseason last year, they needed to do something. And I think they had the worst offense in the league as well. So adding Cambage, that immediately fixes a lot of those problems. And as you mentioned, forming a pretty intense front court there with Nneka. So that's going to be fun. I think the Sparks are going to be really good.
Yeah, they're going to put up some numbers, man, because Nneka is like a legend, all-star in the game as well. And I think Liz on her most recent form last season, the season before, has got to be like a top 3 player in the WNBA. So anytime that you can add a player of that caliber that puts up numbers like Liz does, points, rebounds, yo. Like, I'm a New York Liberty fan, going with the home team New York theme there. But, oh, man, I might have to cop one of those Sparks jerseys this year.
Yeah, I think I'm a Sparks fan now.
We definitely rock with the Sparks. All right. Shout out to Liz. That's a big move on her behalf. Good luck for the upcoming WNBA season, BK. We're going to take a look at some games. We're going to get out of here. There's 3 games already in progress at the moment. We're starting off with the 2 teams that made the trade here. Cleveland Cavaliers, $1.38 favorites. Indiana Pacers, $3.25. The line's at -7, totals at 215 flat, live on NBA League Pass. BK, Cavs are back up to 4th in the East, making this trade, looking to solidify that spot there. They're 7-3 in their last 10. You know what, BK? They've impressed me, man, because through everything, the injuries and COVID, and they've managed to keep winning games. And it's definitely not something I expected from this Cavaliers team. Darius Garland named to his first All-Star team. He's actually questionable for today, and Sabonis and Brogdon both questionable for the Pacers. BK, who do you like?
Yeah, I gotta rock with the Cavs. They've impressed me this season, and as you mentioned, this is a young team, but they're playing well beyond their years.
They are, and that's what's been, I think, super impressive. Did not see it coming. I'm going with the Cavaliers as well. Moving on to the next game here. This one should be fun, I think. This one should be a fun game. It's always fun when you got Trey and Luka. Hawks, $1.99. The Mavs are favorites here, $1.88. The line is at -1. Total is at 224 flat, live on ESPN, I'm sorry. BK, Atlanta, 8-2 in their last 10, knocking on the door of that sort of play-in seed. They're trying to make a move and climb up the rankings. Mavs are trying to gain ground on the Jazz. I think the Jazz are 2 games clear because they've won 2 games in a row as well. Gallinari, Lou Will, both questionable. John Collins out for the Hawks. No Tim Hardaway Jr. Porzingis is out, and Sterling Brown is out for the Mavericks, BK.
Yeah, some big names on that list, but I've been impressed with the Hawks in the last couple of weeks. Looks like they're kind of turning things around a little bit. So I'm gonna rock with Trae Young and the Hawks in this one.
Yeah, I'm rocking with you. Trae Young had a nice 43-point, 5 assist game over the weekend as well, and he's been playing some fantastic basketball. I'm rocking with the Hawks as well. We're 2 from 2. We're agreeing today so far, BK. I think we might agree for the 3rd game here. We've got as well the Pelicans and the Rockets. This one's going to be bad. This one's going to be bad. Pelicans are $1.49 favorites. Rockets, $2.75. Lines at 5.5. Total is at 227.5. Live on League Pass. This is 11th versus 15th. The Rockets mired at the bottom of the Western Conference, BK. Josh Hart, questionable for the Pelicans. I believe the Rockets have got a pretty much a full lineup, BK.
Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, get the popcorn ready. Thoughts on this one?
I'll go with the Pels because the Rockets are the Rockets. There's not much in this one.
That pretty much sums it up. Moving on to I agree with you. moving on to the last NBA game we're going to check out today, the Bucks and the Clippers. I think this one could be pretty fun as well, BK. Bucks $1.61. Clippers 242. The line's at 3.5. Totals at 226.5. Live on SBS Viceland, BK. Clippers 27-27 made that trade over the weekend. Brought in some nice pieces in Norman Powell and Robert Covington. Both should be available to play today. Bucks have won 2 in a row. Just 1 game behind the Bulls and the Heat in the Eastern Conference. The Bucks, they're 21-5 when their big 3 plays. Giannis, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. Those 3 guys are playing today. I don't care if it is in Los Angeles. I'm rocking with the Bucks based off that fact alone.
Hey, look, the Clippers are a frisky team. They've been winning a lot of games. They probably shouldn't this season, but I think the Bucks just have too much.
Yeah, they've won a lot of games they probably shouldn't have. Today's not going to be one of them. I'm rocking with the Greek man, MVP, Greek freak. Shout out to him. All right, we're going to take a look at one NBL game and then we're out of here. BK, we've got this one on tonight. It's the Illawarra Hawks and the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Battle of 3 versus 4 in the league, but Southeast Melbourne have got a couple of games in hand over the Hawks due to all those cancelled games they've had because of COVID and everything. The Hawks, $1.89 favourites here. The Phoenix coming off a big loss to the Wildcats. They're $1.91. The line's at 1. The total is at 172. They're live on ESPN. BK, who do you like?
I'm gonna go with the money in the tight one. I'm gonna go with the Hawks in this one.
Yeah, the Hawks have been playing well. They've shown me something, and I agree with you. I think that's it. We've run the table today. We agree on every single game. I do like the Hawks in a close one. I think that one's going to be a fun game to watch as well. But like I said, the Phoenix has got a couple of games in hand on the Hawks, so the Hawks got to get a win and make up some ground on them. BK, thank you very much, mate. Always a pleasure chatting hoops with you and getting these jokes off. I'm sure the NBA is going to provide plenty more of that. We're going to catch you on Friday morning, as always. This has been another episode of The Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV, brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au. We'll see you guys on Wednesday morning.